Hello, guys. Yeah, I have a speech. I was featured in over 25 years. I speak about my situation, and I was almost like a stand-up comic. And now I'm into Greek and English and Swedish in my home on my home language. So sometimes it's coming a little bit English, little bit Swedish, little bit Greek words. So yeah. The Soleball. I was min Hammerus on Latin and Greek. For 6 years ago, my doctor knew that Dr. Docent in Universitetet was coerced to take surrogate operations. So on my right side, I don't have a young. I don't have a hammer. I don't have a hammer ball. Hammerus on Latin and Greek. Soleball in the young. I mean, and that was because it was my shoulder ball was had a, had a stress fracture, a big crack in the whole young ball in my shoulder. So and wait, I will talk a little bit Greek now. Yes, as public I have a going in my hammer. So yeah, nah, I have inflammation in my hammers and the skeleton and easy young to disciples in Greek is a very good understand English. By the way, Swedish is not a big language, so that I speak English. Yeah, I will show you something. Look at my hand. I can almost cover my face. Look at my face here. It's almost like beer, you know. I have a hormone disease. I have autoimmune disorder, and they get hormone in imbalance too. Yeah, I for 1 year ago I called on the research article on vascular Parkinsonism or vascular Parkinson that Andres Hospital said in the West world, and the only three in 2 months from one man from Great Britain and man from America, and this third in the same race and had documentation in the region is me. Dave, I hope you will see me out there. It's very difficult to live in a very complex disease. And this diagnosed vascular Parkinsonism or Parkinson, although many doctors say a different thing but mean the same. And it's very new diagnosis. So it's more usual that university hospital in the westland country call it vascular Parkinson. Why? People and family and friends have asked me why can I don't do a bone marrow transplant because it's the mechanism that produces my bone marrow in the blood. It's wrong. It's not the blood in itself. It's the mechanism to produce my DNA in the bone marrow is wrong. And when I growing up to I was 35 years old, 34, I think I have cerebral palsy, cerebral palsy, but it wasn't. One of my professors said, why? Because I have not damaged my little brain on brainstem. brain thing. That's why I was busy in 25 years old because my parents had ruined my busy career. And I was ready. I was in Stockholm. I was fishing very big in the Red Cross and they saved the children and but so I saw so when I growing up and we grown up the last 10 years or when I stand up comic even when there was on the serious stuff I was cough and make joke about my situation. I have was fish when I was 12 years old from 1,000 people in the people house in Stockholm, Folkets hus in Sweden, and and I have sit in the handicap racks in the handicap rigs in Sweden to help to get the handicap more adapt to the mobility to be in a wheelchair and a handicap taxi. You know, I was riksledamot or politiker in the Swedish DHR, we call it in Sweden, and this I sat in the mobility and handicap and passed at the handicap. Yeah, you understand. I sat in the Riks in whole Sweden, not only local. And that was very fun. I won a question in the Sweden. I was very hurt then back then too. So I cannot get my question to Stockholm by myself. But that man was very hurt. I was the handicap political things in the whole Sweden in the it was a man Börje was his name that worked in the handicap for Sweden to help to be more adapt for disability and more easy for us to be more flexible people with movement disability and the blind and the hearing handicap too. And I want to help every handicap that they get in society in Sweden, and I was very that I have been a writer too about my main memoirs. But I don't want to only write about my handicap. I want to be a fiction novel and a writer, and I'm very good to fiction too and stuff. So yeah, I hope you get my books. It's only the Greek book to have an other link because Amazon can don't press Greek books. Very strange, but they can press Latin, but not Greek. Very strange. That one, my Greek book have an other link to go in a libro in a different link. Amazon cannot press all the libros in Linega. So it's why I get the logo link on my Greek book. I am very good to thriller and skräcken, mystery and psychological. I like this stuff. And I like my favorite writer, Stephen King. Very good writer, and I can write same. I have the same writing technique. I don't mimic him, but we have the same writing technique. Stephen King has write a book about the Hindenburg, not to be a big famous writer. When I listen to his book in Storytel, I realize, fuck, man, I write like my idol, and he was writing unconsciously. He's thinking like she's, I don't, we don't mimic, but we, it's unconscious when people are like that. I have a teacher, that comes to reading my books. He asked me when I least hope, darkness, and hope, faith, and darkness. He asked me, we don't get a more memoir. No, I said, well, you're very good at the air, but I don't, my books will really be about my sickness all the time. Because this is chronic and it's never ending. Yet my bone and skeleton they can don't they can don't stand up for my pressing my strong muscles that take over my overarm. And my orthopedic doctor today in my local hospital say to me that sooner or later you probably must to take over your shoulder ball in your axial link or young hammer say in Latin and Greek and young ball or it's very different to say young ball. It seems so very all bad English, but I have looked it up. They probably must take take up my hammers in axelkula, my young ball to release the pain and get more space to the middle to the smaller joint in the lead in the joint, and my inflammation sit in the skeleton around my left shoulder joint, not only in the brusk or lead and seen or muscle, it's in the skeleton structure. So that one is very painful, and I cannot say to my arm, stop, drove this wrong position, stop it. It's, I cannot release the over stiffness and dystonia to break it by myself. I too much dystonia and unwilling my movement. I cannot say to myself, stop it. My brain cannot say to my arm, stop it. So, yeah. And I take an injection for fifth week to be more to sink to lower my estrogen level to almost zero because my estrogen is hurting my body, not only the movement, the organ. It's called estrogen and serotonin. It's a liquid in the happy in the healthcare in the doctor said serotonin called the happy hormone in the brain, but my body is being serotonin potent, and that's why they won't get the man from Britain and America that I'm talking about is my age, and they want medication castrated with medication tablet to think they tested it on to zero truth. So they cannot be a father, they cannot be, it's harder to guys to be more under you on the female side and to a woman to be more under you on the man. And I have to much testosterone, and I have the problem in the deepest corner in my big brain to movements, hormones, spasticity, dystonia and spasticity is the same thing for me. Tremor, shaking, and and the flax. this this you see when my finger let them move, they look like I play piano. It's a Korean movement, very with my left hand. You can see it. It's almost a playing, playing. Is I am not hunting from Korea, but it's a move with movement pattern disorder. So it's the same brain damage, but not the same disease, but the same movement pattern. It's very different, and my and many neurological doctor call it that three people have wrong in the deepest corners in this big brain. Kärndictus in Sweden in Latin, bond condictus in English in Latin. That not have the mobility will on the hormone balance is destroyed too. And when other thing, I have second that capacity, not primary. And I have three movement of hyperkinetic kroppen har hyper my brain send for too much nursing into my body. I have dystonia. I have secondary spasticity. Dystonia, Parkinson tremor, tremor, I mean, and this flax movement is called Korea. It's almost like dancing or playing movement. So my left joint in on my shoulder probably and most likely have the same fate to my that my left my right arm have that I have the fucking pain in my shoulder is to my muscle covers the joint in my shoulders to be very against each other. It's not face between the joint. I should have very much joint, a little joint to be so people can move their shoulders. But the joint is against each other and have not space. So the my shoulder ball and the minor joint in my in my shoulder have pressed to each other because of my muscle craft, and this very crazy thing my left arm does. And I am very tall. I over an 100 centimeter. I am almost 190 centimeter tall, and my overarm is very big. So that this taller you are, the more craft it muscle have to destroy my shoulder and my joint everywhere in my body because I am very tall. Yeah, my disease is very crazy. So yeah, it's very painful, you know. Gå in i våra polissimmerna. In alla ett fall liv. I said on Greek, I have pain every time in my life. My skeleton cannot, my skeleton broke because of my dystonia. So it's very big muscle craft from the wrong way. But what fuck? I can rap, I'm not dead. Yeah, my dry sickness, you know. Yeah, that's why I write that. Why I teach me language. That's why I'm singing. People not have something in this life that you want. I have this old project mentally to don't get my sickness to win. If I let my sickness win, I have been dead for many years ago. And I get, but I am teacher when I get older. People would see patient like me and people like me want to got to show the weakness to be stronger, you know. that I teach me when I get older. I cannot pretend this pain on my body don't get worse. And when I understand this vascular Parkinson, new diagnosis in Western lands hospital and